What's up, everyone? So today's episode is for those people who are interested in starting a startup, already are in one, or are just about to raise their first round. You're gonna want to learn the lingo so that you can talk the talk, sometimes even before you walk the walk. So let's do this. So this might be not so informational to experienced entrepreneurs, but I'm doing this for the ones who are just getting into it. If you actually feel like this was of value for you, please let me know in the comments or any other things that you'd like me to talk about, and I can expand upon them. So I'm just gonna say a brief idea about each of the words and help you understand what it means. I would definitely recommend, though, if there's any topic or word that is very necessary to you, or you're in the middle of something where that matters, you should research it more extensively. So the first thing you're gonna hear from a lot of these investors is CAC, or Customer Acquisition Cost. Simply put, how much money do you pay usually on marketing to actually be able to obtain a customer, somebody who pays for the product or service that you're selling. Of course, this is not limited to marketing costs, because sometimes you put other things into perspective, like the time spent by your salespeople going out into the field, the fuel they spend, and so on. LTV, or lifetime value. This term is simply used to talk about the total value that you would be getting from a paying customer. So for instance, if you get a single customer who's probably going to buy from you 4 times along the length of a single year and then lose them, then their lifetime value is the average amount they buy with every single time, timed by 4 in that example. ROI, which is return on investment. That's a term that is used to calculate the amount of return or money coming into the company based on something that you invested on. So let's say I spend $100 on Facebook ads and I got $120 in sales. So to calculate your ROI on this example, you simply divide 20 by 100 and then multiply that by 100 to get the percentage. So in this case, it would turn into 20%. Things could, however, get a bit more complicated. So if you're in a case where you need to get an exact fixed number, please do research this more. Unit economics. It's basically just the stuff we just talked about, but you look at it with a single product or a single service or a single customer perspective so that you can get an understanding of each unit's return and cost to produce. Business model. The business model is simply the way in which you are going to be getting money as a business. How is the customer going to pay you? Are they going to buy your product once? Are they going to license it? Are they going to give you a commission? Different sets of business models that you need to look at, but that's what it means. A freemium business model is basically a business model that starts as free, so you can try the product, for instance, for a specific set period of time or with specific limitations, and then it's meant to turn the customer into a paying one by ending that trial period or offering extended features. Cash flow positive. To keep it simple, the money coming into the company is greater than the money going out, and then you become cash flow positive. Exit strategy, or exit. Basically, a lot of these investors are going to be coming and placing money into your startup, and what they're looking for is for you to probably exit somehow, or them at least. And what this means is, are you planning to get to a point where you're going to sell the company as a whole? Who are you going to sell it to? Why are they going to buy? When do you expect this to happen? That overall is your exit strategy, which doesn't have to end with selling, but basically they want to find a way in which they understand how they're going to be getting their money back, of course, hopefully much more money back at a specific point. Acqui-hire is basically just acquire and hire together. And what this is a strategy that a lot of companies do when they're very interested in a specific team. So they probably aren't really that interested in the product itself, but want the skills and the know-how of the team to become something that's underneath the mother company. And so they buy the entire company so that they can acquire the team to come and work for them for a specific period of time. MVP, minimum viable product. Now, probably you've heard of this one. Probably you know what it kind of means, but probably you're not doing what you need to do about it. I will put it in the simplest terms. the fastest path to actually put your ideas into a real thing in the world where you can get feedback. It's not about having the least amount of features. It's not about being a shitty product. The only thing you need to understand about an MVP is launch as fast as you can and then just let the customers tell you what's wrong with it and you fix along the way. Finding product market fit. I mean, this one should be simple. Just to put things into perspective, however, it's all about figuring out what your product really is, who wants it in the market, how much they're going to pay for it, is there a real need, meaning your startup stops being an idea or something that is just starting up and kind of turns into a business. How will I know when I have found product market fit? Trust me, you'll just know, because things will start going at a pace that is faster than you've ever imagined once you hit product market fit. B2C or business to consumer. This is a business model where you're producing a product or service that is sold directly to the consumer. So there's a direct connection or relationship between the company or your startup and the end consumer, which is usually a person. B2B, business to business. In this business model, you're probably selling your product service to a business rather than the end consumer. So you sell your product to a business that then uses it somehow within their internal processes, or to maybe even sell to other consumers, which turns into a B2B2C. Yeah, I know. SaaS, or software as a service. Simply put, you create this software, you place it on the cloud, people start using it, licensing it probably to actually get the technology that you've built as something that they can use on daily or whatever basis. This model is controversial. A lot of people love it. A lot of people hate it. It is hard to monetize because you usually will need to get a large number of people to sign up so that you're producing significant amounts of revenue. But also, on the other hand, it's one of the most affordable and cheapest businesses to run because it doesn't really cost a lot of money to keep your code or tech on the cloud and run it for businesses. If you are in SaaS, you'll probably hear MRR, or monthly recurring revenue. Monthly recurring revenue is simply the amount of revenue or money coming in that you're getting every single month. You also get ARR, which is annual recurring revenue. If you want me to explain that one, something is probably wrong. Churn rate. Your churn rate is simply a term that describes the number of subscribers or customers who left the service. The ones who dropped out, who did not renew their subscription or such. This can be calculated on a monthly and a yearly basis, and the acceptable ranges in which it falls varies between vertical to vertical. So if this is something you're interested in, this is also something you need to research vigorously, because optimizing it could mean the life and death of your business. Week over week growth or month over month growth is simply said, let's say your main KPI, another word, key performance indicator, which basically is a term that is used to explain the very important things or the pillars of your business. How am I going to be able to tell if this business is a success or if we have grown this month or this year? I look at my KPIs. The main things that I need to achieve to figure out that we're going upwards and to the right. So to go back to week over week or month over month growth is simply the amount of revenue coming in or the number of subscribed users in the second month divided by the amount of subscribers or revenue coming in the first month. It's simply just a metric to calculate how much growth you've seen, or hopefully not, but decrease of business you've seen this month or this week. Yeah, and on a side note, don't be tricked by people who tell you we grew 500% last month, because sometimes they're probably doing one sale, and if they did 5 sales the second month, then they've grown actually 500%. That's a trick that a lot of founders use to kind of boast things and make it look better.